10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hey everyone, welcome to another weekly episode of Skeptic Spin. I'm your host, as usual, Justin. Today, you might notice Spin Dr. Mike is in costume. No, that's not what's happened at all. I have a very, very special guest. AJ from the brand new YouTube channel of Ways to Human is joining me on stage today to do my show. How are you doing today, AJ?
I'm doing great. Super excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me and giving me this opportunity.
I have a dream someday my channel will be of such a size that I will truly be able to give people an opportunity. And I'm honored that you think this is such an opportunity. But I'm just grateful to not have to be on the stage all by myself. Because I'm a better game show host than I am a talk show host. In any case, yeah, if you guys aren't familiar with AJ and her channel at Ways to Human, her channel is in my description, but it's real easy to just search Ways to Human and make sure you guys go over and subscribe to AJ. But tonight's episode is about the punk apostate himself, Brentley. Have you seen much of his show?
I have actually, watched a couple of his shows, caught a few live. He was on earlier today, discussing some very very delusional persons. It was wild but hilarious. Love the commentary.
Yeah, he's very funny. We did a Canada Day episode with him a while back, and I found him to be a perfect personality, especially in a large group of people at that point, because everybody wants to be so intellectual and factual, and Brentley really made me slap my knee and laugh. And if you guys don't believe me, well, I've got a clip from one of his episodes here to show you guys.
Prophet cannot contradict the Bible, because this would mean that God's prophetic word is contradicting his written word, which would make him a liar, which is impossible since God created the world solely on truth. Another indication that somebody
What?
is a prophet.
What kind of logic was that shit? Hold on, let's hear this fucking syllogism one more time here.
This would mean that God's prophetic word is contradicting his written word, which would make him a liar, which is impossible since God created the world solely on truth.
I'm so fucking confused. So the prophesied word has to match the written word, because it's impossible that God would lie, because he created the universe based on truth. Fucking what, man? How do you create the universe based on truth? What does that even mean? You're like, hold on, wait, wait, with this universe, hold on, was that one based on truth though? Shit, how many universes did I make that weren't with truth as the basis here? That one was a lie. That one was the basis of fucking shit, man. Why'd you put that universe out there? I told you I wanted it based on truth, and now you got this liar fucking universe out there. You know what? Just cancel it. Actually, can we just flood this sucker? Just kill everybody on there except for that one guy. That one drunk guy. Actually, no, keep him. He sounds kind of funny. He looks like he's gonna have a good time. So just, everybody but that dude and his family. Okay. I don't know. Give him a fucking vote. I don't care. Jesus. But then we're gonna have to start a whole new thing with just based on truth this time, though, because that's how I make universes.
Oh man, just hilarious. That one drunk guy and his family. Just give him a vote. All right, everyone, let's get him onto the stage here and meet Brentley, the punk apostate. Brentley, how you doing tonight?
Excellent. How you doing?
Good. Did you like the clip I chose?
Yeah, it's funny because I wasn't sure when it started. I was like, what was this one? And yeah, because I used to do so many of these that it was just kind of like hard to keep track of all of them. But that was fun. I like that one.
You kind of went off on this fantastic rant like I actually imagine you had several voices in your head having a meeting about the universes you had created and which ones were based on truth. And and then I don't know where it came from. It was almost a left field or a left-hand turn where you're like, you know what, just flood it. And I right then and there I was like, okay, never mind, we're just gonna put this clip. I was actually like I was thinking I was gonna cut moments from several episodes for the last week, right? Because I wanted to
Right.
I wanted to grab from your latest content, and I was gonna just quick succession, just have you fast react with an F-bomb here and there and stuff, and just have it really be funny in that way. But then you went on this rant, and I was like, forget everything else.
It was perfect.
Thank you. Oh, it's awesome. Yeah, I love just doing that one. It's like they say, like improv is like a muscle, and you got to work it out, you know. And so I love doing those shows just because, like, I just gives me a chance to just fucking just take off all the guardrails and just go nuts and have fun. And they turn out pretty good sometimes. So I was like, oh yeah, that's all right.
I mean, there's so many delusional things out there, like the show you were doing earlier today. It was just wow. I was just mind blown. Like, yeah.
Today we covered this guy who was saying, what was he doing? He was like saying that he was like gotten to Satanism at 8 years old. And that's the second person too that I've covered within the last month that has said that. They're like, when I was 7, I got initiated into the Satan cult. It's like 7, what, 8, like 2 different people. Yeah, so it was nuts, man. I don't know where these people come from, but it's and I think it's helpful too, just in the sense that these are things that like really did mess with me growing up. These like fear thing where your parents are telling you that the monster in the closet is actually real, and will get you if you don't if you're not Jesusing enough. So I feel like this kind of helps to kind of heal from that nonsense trauma, but
that's the problem. Like, if they teach you things like, you need to drink water to survive, like a scientific fact, right? And then they teach you, Jesus is gonna punish you and send you to hell if you don't do this or that, and like to you are like the same kind of fact when you're a kid, and you grow up thinking that.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you have no reason to think that it's not, that both of those aren't equally valid, Yeah, it's crazy.
I've recently become aware with a lot of even just like the home remedies and the things that I was told as a kid are actually not true at all. For instance, the in-laws installed a saltwater pool a couple of years ago, and even they're regurgitating these things to their kid. And I'm just sitting here like, I don't want to like step in front of these parents and be like, you're just spouting bullshit. But this idea of not going swimming 30 minutes after you eat or you'll get cramps, it's just myth. It's not a thing.
I forgot about
that.
I
was raised constantly told that like after I ate, I had to sit and wait 30 minutes before I could go back in the pool or whatever.
Because you would die from a cramp or something. What was the thing? Like, what even was it? I was always it's like, okay, so my stomach would hurt, and then that equals drowning. Like, how does this work? I was so confused about that as a kid.
And it was an above ground pool on top of that, so it's 3.5 feet deep. It's like, what do you think is going to happen? That someone isn't just going to be able to reach over the edge and pull me out if I have a problem? Like,
right? That's so funny. Yeah. I remember that one too. Yeah. Yeah, and nobody likes a skeptic, that's the thing. Like, it doesn't matter who the person is that believes whatever the person believes, they don't like us, because we're the ones going, yeah, I'm not convinced that's true. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be like a wellness thing or a religion or a conspiracy. We're annoying to everybody.
Yeah.
You know what? It's because it makes them think about the full implications of whatever they're claiming. And it's a lot of steps.
Yeah, it really is. It's
let's steer the conversation a little bit more. Let's get real for a sec. So how's your week going?
Oh, God.
For anyone in the audience who doesn't know, Brentley was in the path of 2 hurricanes in the last 14 days or something.
Yeah.
And he still has lights and internet, which is amazing. But in any case, why don't you tell us what that experience is like?
Man, it's crazy. Living in Florida, you get so used to these things. And, just like whatever, like they're coming and you're like, okay, we'll just buy some water and some canned goods. That's usually like what you do. And 9 times out of 10, I would never lose power. I think we would maybe for like a day or something like that. Not long enough for it to be even that uncomfortable. And then Helene came. The facility that I worked at got completely washed away. So that was, completely gone. Like, I mean, it just got so destroyed that they had to move us all to a different facility and everything. And it's like that. So that happened. And then like the next one comes and it's like, barreling straight for us, and it's a Cat 5 and everything. And so I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna take this one serious for once, and we're gonna fucking leave. So we just dipped out of there, and it didn't hit as hard here. I mean, it did hit hard for just about everybody, but we got really, really, really lucky because
Those are the prayers. All the prayers.
It had to be it. Yeah, it's I always joke that like God must not like DeSantis. He's like, he hates all his anti-LGBTQIA plus anti his legislation and everything. And that's why God's punishing DeSantis. That's what it is.
Exactly.
But
yeah, I couldn't imagine. I mean, I can totally understand the idea of you get so used to a certain dangerous situation, and then you start to think like, we'll be all right. I'm sure it's not gonna be a problem. But I appreciate the when the second one came, Melvin or whatever it was called, that you were just like
Milton.
Fucking
Milton. What kind of name?
Yeah, that's scary. I want you to remember for the rest of your life that of all the hurricanes you didn't run from, Milton was the one you ran from.
Ended up running for fucking Milton, the weird guy from Office Space. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Like, geez,
like hurricanes aren't really an issue where I am, nor are tornadoes, but snow is a definite real thing here in Canada.
Oh yeah,
and even I'm guilty of like a snowstorm is coming, so everybody make sure that your windows are closed and your snow shovels are somewhere you can get at them, and all the things you need to do. And I'm out driving in it, and I'm just like, nah, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's sometimes it's not a dangerous situation until it is too, right? So
right. Well, and it's what's it's weird because it almost is one of those like things where it's kind of, it's like your personal bias, because we always got lucky, because like go like a couple miles down the street and it did like really mess people up, but because it wasn't me, because it didn't actually affect me personally, it didn't, it was always like, it's not a big deal. But then when it messed up my work and knocked my power out, because it did knock my power out for like 5 days. And it was hot. I was seeing spots at the one point because I was like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna pass out!" Like it's so hot, I could barely handle it. But yeah. So but once it happens to you, then you're like, "Okay, no, we got to take this shit seriously. This is not a joke."
The heat is the worst in the south. Yeah, when Rita was coming this way, I live in Houston, Texas, right? And we decided to evacuate, and we were going to somewhere that's like 45 minutes away. It took like 10 hours in the car. Like we were stuck in traffic. It was so fucking hot. We thought we were gonna die. We had a cat with us. We were like, well, we're gonna have to let him go. Yeah, we made it, but yeah, the heat is brutal.
Yeah, it's tough too when everybody's leaving at the same time too. Everybody's hitting that road and you're just sitting there for like 6 hours, like you're saying.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Well, that's a great segue right there. What do you say we turn the heat up then, and I bring out and introduce you to my tableau this week? What do you say there, Brentley?
Oh yeah, let's do it.
All right, so here is the custom built triple take tableau that I made just for you. So it's got 3 YouTube shorts linked behind some AI generated videos, but not videos, sorry, AI generated images. The videos are real. I did not make the videos. They're just are on YouTube. If you don't believe me, you can go find them. In any case, we're going to run these in order from top to the bottom. And what I've been liking to do lately is, based on the prompts that I gave these, the AI generator for the video, what do you think the first video, the top one, might be about?
Okay. It's like
I didn't even bother with having the AI fix the spelling of stuff. I just went, whatever. So we can call it part of the prompt.
Why is it the AI can't spell? Like I would think of all the things, whatever. They don't have a database for spelling. Anyway. Let's see. It's there's a judge, gavel, right? That looks like some kind of certificate that says that, it's got to be something about somebody getting, going to jail for not acting good enough.
Okay.
And the judge is judging the acting because it says act everywhere.
All right. Well,
I don't know if that's
no, that's not it at all.
that's solid, right? That no,
No.
come on.
Let's have
That's
a look.
it.
Let's settle it and just have a look.
Well, the federal government has scoured through the Constitution and somewhere in there have found themselves the right to force you to own and operate a business. That's right. Starbucks is now being required by the federal government to reopen 3 shops in Ithaca, hire back all the employees, and give them 16 months worth of back pay. Now, I think this is a little bit ridiculous, but I am reminded that Starbucks has actually been a big proponent of economically illiterate politicians. And when you foster economic illiteracy, you get these sorts of decisions. So good luck with that, Starbucks.
I feel like
I'm
earlier
confused.
today, he's got words, but
Yeah. So, I'll just give a little bit of backstory to what he's trying to talk about here. Is in 2022, 3 Starbucks locations in Ithaca, they voted to unionize.
Oh,
So the Starbucks owners turned around and shut their doors and fired everybody, and a judge went, "You can't do that." So
Right.
that's why he was building himself a straw man of the Constitution. Apparently now says you have to own the business anyway. What do you think about that, Brent?
even in his little thing, I was like, but that's not like, I don't know, even if you have the company have to open up those same branches again, that's not the same thing as everybody having to own a store. I was thinking like, oh, if I move there, I'm going to have to buy a Starbucks and open it because that's the law. Everybody has to own a business. Like that's the way he made it sound. And then, yeah, it's just it's just a union thing. It's like, what the fuck? Yeah, that's funny. Why?
Yeah, it's illegal to close your business down because your employee is unionized.
Right.
It's not a Constitution thing.
No, it's just being like not a terrible employee. Like, what's the point of unions if you can just do that? They already have like so many hoops they have to jump through in the first place just to get union. Like I think it was Starbucks. They had to do one store at a time or something like that. Like they had some law where they can't just do it across the board. They each have to one at a time, like become unionized. Well, that takes forever, But yeah, it's ridiculous. Just to have some advocacy at work, so that you can have some decent hours and decent pay. It's crazy what you got to go through.
yeah, it's
What do you think,
ironic
AJ?
that he was talking about literacy because he was just putting words together but making no sense.
Right. Yeah. It was.
Yeah, he's got himself over 1 million subscribers on YouTube now. That
Wow.
guy,
Jesus.
and he's very hard right leaning, and he does these YouTube shorts that, because of the nature of the show that I do, none of you want to see my YouTube feed with shorts right now. Like you just don't even. So I've covered his shorts a couple times, because he's so just, oh man,
Very arrogant. He's he's very condescending. I don't know what is it about conservatives that they just want to be talked down to in an angry voice all the time. I'm just like, who would, like Candace Owens, like who would want to listen to somebody talk like that for an hour? That's just, I don't know, it just feels weird.
Yeah. I also think it's just one great big commercial because he always pulls up a different coffee mug with a weird saying on it.
Okay, yeah, I couldn't read that quick. What
here.
did you see what it said? Like,
Well, the federal government has scoured through the
stuff.
Constitution and somewhere in there have a little bit ridiculous, but I am Starbucks has actually been a big proponent of economically illiterate politicians. And when you foster economic illiteracy, you get these sorts of decisions. So good luck with that, Starbucks.
all right, I'm not arguing. I'm just explaining why I'm right. Okay.
So all of his shorts always have this like, he's just selling coffee mugs at the end of the day.
that's literally what. Yo. That's funny.
Kamala Harris is out there collecting funds for her campaign. It's just easy for her to do proper like gaining funds for her campaign, and Trump's got to go out and sell coins and digital trading cards and
sell every weird conspiracy in the book. Because they can't just like be like, we got better policy. No, you got to be like, they can make fucking hurricanes, dude. That's the Dems, dude. The Dems are making hurricanes and sending them at people
Well,
for reasons we can't come up with that make sense.
that
Oh,
brings
yeah.
us to the next short here. If
Oh
you look-
shit! I did not even. That's funny.
Yeah,
I
so
can
we've
see
got a conductor here in front of a weather control device.
Yep. Okay.
So
Wow, that was perfect.
that
Oh,
worked out
man.
perfectly. Let's just look at it.
Now, we've known for decades our planet is warming, that we would start seeing the brutal effects. But conservatives remain so deep in their denial, they're flailing around for anyone or anything else to blame. Republican Congressman Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is now like a big mover and shaker in the Republican Party, is promoting a bizarre conspiracy theory about a mysterious they, you can imagine who that is, controlling the weather, suggesting that they are sending hurricanes to Republican areas to impact the election. Like someone is sitting at some computer somewhere pressing hurricane.
Okay, that's a new one.
You haven't heard that one yet? Well, let's let Brentley educate you and the entire chat if they didn't know.
No, because we did a whole show yesterday about the whole claim that Alex Jones brought out that Kamala Harris was controlling the weather and the hurricane, but I had not heard that specific one.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I remember seeing this a long time ago, like from was with Alex Jones. I used to be like a crazy conspiracy theorist and everything.
Wow.
And and I remember it's called the HARP, right? And it was like it was like HAARP or something like that. Stands for stuff. And it was like it supposedly controlled the weather, right? It's just been around for forever. And a lot of it was taken from, as far as I understand, and I could be mistaken on some of this, but there was a project that was like basically trying to maximize the amount of rain that you would get in areas that didn't get much rain. Right. And so it was like this really basic, like just trying to get these clouds to have more moisture or something, add like a chemical or whatever.
It's cloud seeding.
Cloud
Just
seeding.
kidding,
Yes. Okay. Yeah. And it would just add like a tiny bit more rain, just to like try to even it out. And as far as I understand, wasn't very effective. It was only so effective. And because of that, they follow that to the logical, insane conclusion that means you can just control all weather all the time, no matter what, because hey, the technology's gotten so much better since the 60s. So it's gotta be. That's the progression it's gotta go in.
Yeah, they tried it in the 70s too with a hurricane, dumping dry ice into the hurricane. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying
to
trying to follow the thought logic, like the path. So let me set it up how this works. Democrats develop weather control technology. All right. They decide, let's run it through red states. So they'll vote for us.
Yeah. Or kill everybody? I don't know.
How does this make sense? Right? Like, if they got weather control technology, make it rain money. Then people will vote for you.
Right? And then let them know that you did it. Yeah.
Yeah. Or at the very least, you got to do it Dr. Evil style and put the threat out there. If you don't vote for us, I'll run a hurricane through your yard.
We'll do it.
You don't just run a hurricane through their yard and go, now they'll vote for us, because this doesn't even make sense.
No. Unless it like it literally is they're just trying to kill them or something. Like, I don't know if that was what they were saying, like that all those Republicans are all, I think what their logic might be is if they can wreck enough of this systems and everything, then we're gonna have to be reliant on the government. That sounds like something that they would do. You know what I mean? They'd be like, now they have to have FEMA money.
Isn't that kind of like the Jesus logic? Like, if you don't do this, then I'm going to throw some hurricanes at you.
It is too, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
That's probably where they got it from.
Right.
Another thing that occurs to me too is San Francisco burning to the ground, having massive like forest fires, a blue state, and Dems have weather control technology, but no one makes it rain. No one hits. Freaking hurricane would be better.
Right. Like,
like one night of hurricane to stop this like 3 weeks of nonstop burning would be better.
Dude, and if they have the power to control the weather, then they've really dropped the ball with California because it has literally everything. It has all of the weather problems,
Right.
including earthquakes and fires. And just they have everything. Just whatever it is, it's they got it. It's yeah. Why wouldn't they use that over there? So, but yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. I was gonna put up instead of an AI generated image for that, I was gonna put an image of Cobra from the G.I. Joe cartoon because there's an episode where they have a weather dominator where they control the weather around the world. Yeah, yeah. It's actually like the very first miniseries of G.I. Joe was the weather dominator.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's really funny.
That's
All right. Well, we got one more left to go here. What do you think there, Punk? What do you think is that short about?
Constance, do not touch. Huh. And this is some kind of board. It looks like a soundboard almost.
I can try to like read some of the stuff here that you might not be able to see properly, but one says the speed of light, another one says the speed of constant, gravitational constant.
And it can alter the speed, like all like the cosmological constants or something, or like the physical laws of physics. It can like tweak them a little bit.
Yep. You got any idea what that video might be behind there?
A matrix thing? I don't know.
I'll have Tinting Windmill give you a hand.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes perfect. Thank you.
Let's have a look.
The ending of this short literally makes me want to cry.
So you don't believe in God anymore?
That isn't something for you to worry about.
Did you know that if gravity were slightly more powerful, the universe would collapse into a ball?
I did not.
Also, if gravity were slightly less powerful, the universe would fly apart and there'd be no stars or planets.
Where are you going with this, Sheldon?
It's just that gravity is precisely as strong as it needs to be. And if the ratio of the electromagnetic force to the strong force wasn't 1%, life wouldn't exist. What are the odds that would happen all by itself?
Why are you trying to convince me to believe in God?
But the precision of the universe at least makes it logical to conclude there's a creator. There are 5 billion people on this planet, and you're the perfect mom for me. What are the odds of that?
That is extremely wholesome. That is extremely wholesome.
Follow if
and
you
true.
love Jesus. They took a great heartfelt moment from Sheldon and his mom and polluted it. What do you think there?
What? And Sheldon doesn't believe in God, right? Like, isn't that the whole thing? Like,
Yeah.
of that show. I haven't watched the young one, but I know in the Big Bang Theory, Sheldon was definitely an atheist or agnostic.
The context of that particular episode is that something happens that like shakes her faith.
Yeah.
And Sheldon
she was
is
really sad. Yeah.
yeah. So then Sheldon's just trying to make her feel better by throwing the fine tuning argument out there. But what do you think of the fine tuning argument? Is it a valid argument? Is it any good or what?
I would say for these, I would say I understand why people find this stuff compelling in some kind of way. But as far as I understand, it's backwards. It's a misunderstanding of how things work. It's almost like it's like an ad hoc kind of. An ad hoc's like where you come up with something sort of after the fact, if I'm not mistaken. And it's like kind of looking back on stuff or in a particular way. It's almost like when people say, why is there something rather than nothing? As if nothing would have been an option or whatever. But the answer is because if there were nothing, there'd be no one to ask why there's nothing. So it's like after the fact, all these things have worked out this way, not on purpose, but just because that's the way things happened in order. It was like, it's so hard to explain.
Oh, I think you did very well.
Right, okay, thanks.
I think it's hard for people to grasp like the length of time that the universe has existed, just because we have a life that's like barely 100 years each of us. So to think about 13 billion years is like we can't really grasp that, and how long it took for the whole thing to evolve into what we see today. We've been in the world for like a second.
Right. And when they bring up odds, it always irritates me because it's almost like if I think of it this way, like if life is something that is possible, then in an infinite universe, and as far as we could tell, we can't really tell if it's infinite or not. But as far as I could tell, it's big enough to possibly assume that is at least an option. If the universe is infinite, then life is not only probable, it's inevitable because of the sheer size of it. If it's something that's possible, given the size and everything, it's bound to happen. You know what I mean? So like, but I could see being, even if it's not the case, that life is inevitable. If it's in the one spot where it did happen and it's perfect or whatever for where it's at, and it's just because the marble rolled just right into the right spot, and then it happened to develop from there, the people on that marble like, holy shit, this is fucking crazy. How is it like that? But it's them on that marble that are looking at it going, this is impossible. It's like, but it's not though. It happened. You're just looking back at it going, man, look how improbable this is. But so what? You know what I mean? It happened.
Have you covered any fine tuning stuff over on your channel, AJ?
Yeah, I do have a video about it. Yeah. And I mean, I like to quote Neil deGrasse Tyson, and he says that it kind of has to do with this. If you see a puddle, like, you're not gonna think the shape of the hole was made for that specific water. No, like the water shaped itself for the hole, right? So like the universe wasn't made for us. We evolved very, very slowly to adjust to, adapt to to everything that is around us, like to all the laws of physics and nature. Except it wasn't just made for us to randomly just pop into existence like Adam and Eve.
Exactly.
The universe wasn't set up or tuned in such a way to encourage or support life. Life is actually a side effect of the conditions that are there and available.
Exactly.
A lot of people may not want to hear the word life is a side effect, but that's what it is.
Yeah.
That was perfectly put. Yeah, I'd never heard that one before, but it was,
The universe doesn't care that we're here or not. Just the conditions on part of one planet in one solar system that we're aware of were just good enough that life was possible. There's no fine tuning here. If there is fine tuning involved, they suck at it. Like,
oh yeah. It's terrible out there. Like, how can you think that the
Brentley
universe
knows better than anyone right now how not fine tuned the state of Florida is.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Like, we won't be able to travel to any other planet if it was fine tuned for life. Like, why fine tune a single planet?
Right. And why is it not? I mean, because they say that it's like made for us, and yet we can like I always think this one's funny. The planet that is supposedly made just for us is covered in water, right? And so we can't live on but 11% of it if you take in all the mountains and the deserts and all that type of stuff, right? And it's like and it's covered in water, and you're like, oh well, we have to drink water to survive. No, it's salt water, it kills you. So it's like not even the thing that it's covered in is like for our good for our survival. It's just like, why would something like, if it was made just for us, why would it be like that? Why wouldn't we be able to inhabit the whole thing?
we wouldn't even, if it was so tuned for us, we wouldn't need clothing, we wouldn't need shoes.
Yeah.
Right. Like, sure, our clothes are a way for us to express ourselves these days and things like that, but the first t-shirt was made because they were getting sunburnt or cold. Like, the sun is either trying to kill them.
Yeah, speaking of the sun, cancer.
Yeah. Right. The thing that keeps us alive also kills us.
We can't even look straight at it.
Right. Hats weren't invented so we could hide bedhead. They were invented to keep the sun off of us because it will kill us.
Right. I always like to say, if there is an intelligent designer, we're the universe that they dropped and didn't realize developed. That was like the beaker that spilled. Shit. Well, whatever. I'm working on this universe over here.
Yeah, we were the alpha build, and they never went to beta. They just left it there.
Yeah, they just forgot all about it. Just like kept going.
And then when it gets,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, and then when it gets too cold, what happens? We have nothing to eat. Our food dies. Like, okay, so here's a planet that's totally tuned to us, but we can't eat for 6 months of the year. Well, I guess it depends where you live. Where I live, there's you're not growing tomatoes in your backyard, right?
That's
like,
right.
it's just not a thing.
Even down here, I have a garden, and yeah, like in the middle of the summer, everything's just crunch. Like it's completely burnt. Yeah, dead.
Amber. It's all this.
Yeah, and the fact that there's so much, I would basically say the moment you have to use some kind of technology in order to be able to accomplish anything or survive, for that matter,
Right.
the tuning argument's out the window, right? Just the fact that we couldn't even go to Europe without inventing a machine to get us across the water one way or another. Like, we can't even necessarily get to a place that's more habitable without the aid of technology, whether it be a mode of transportation or even just a good hardy pair of shoes.
All right. Well, because it's like a top down. Because and it's like a top down. It's like they want it to be like this top down design where it's almost like, I always think of it as like Disney World, right? Disney World was like they designed it, then they made everything to be exactly that thing, right? When really it's more like some town in like Italy or something. It's like, okay, they put some houses here because it's not on a slope. They put some stuff. It's like it develops because of its usability, right?
Nature follows a path of least resistance.
Exactly. See, and it's not, but they want it to be like, oh no, it's designed to be that way, and it is that way. But if that were the case, why would anything adapt at all?
Yeah.
There'd be no, because they were like, oh, I believe in adaptation. Why? If it was designed, there wouldn't be any adaptation. Everything would just be what it's made to be, and there'd be no need for anything to be like, oh, well, it has to alter now slightly. No, it was designed to be that way and fine-tuned, so it can't change, can't adapt. You know.
Well said,
Yeah,
Bentley.
what's his name? Pat Robertson was talking about the weather events and earthquakes and stuff, and he was like, "Well, God created the Earth this way, and He created it to rotate, and the plates push against each other, and he went on a whole science explanation about it, but God created it that way, so it's
Talk
gotta
about over-engineered for no reason.
Right. Yeah, big waste of time and space. It's crazy. Like,
Yeah.
why would they do
that? Well, with that, Bentley, what shows and what's going on? What do you got? What have you designed on the Punk Apostate channel for the next couple weeks? What do you got going on?
Oh shoot, I actually don't know. It's it's kind of up in the air at this point. I'm kind of just like
your stream today. I believe you ended with saying you were going to do a members only live stream to conclude the content you were covering.
Yeah, I do plan on doing that. I have to adjust depending upon my work schedule and stuff. Is all up in the air right now, so kind of like my schedule's sort of all over. But yeah, it's just whenever I can sit down and try to make that happen. That's what I'm gonna do. But yeah, it's been kind of crazy lately. So
yeah, understood. Well, with that, just anyone who isn't already subscribed to the Punk Apostate channel, head on over there and subscribe if you want to see what he's doing next. And AJ over at Ways to Human, what do you got going on? What do you got coming up?
Well, we recently started doing live videos, so we're hoping to have guests. Both of you are welcome to come over and hang and chat about anything. My channel is mostly like I try to combine sort of religion and science and history, which I really love science and history. So kind of like debunking ridiculous arguments about pretty much anything with proof of factual evidence. So I'm hoping to have Richard Gilliver. He agreed to come on the show. Secular Rarity, who you've had on your show before, so they're both pretty cool.
Yeah, I had SR last week myself too.
Oh hell yeah. Yeah, he's love SR. He's awesome. I just had Richard Gilliver not too long ago too. Like I don't know, a couple weeks, about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Yeah, he's awesome.
Man, he's so smart. Yeah, I love like his philosophy stuff. He's just so knowledgeable, man.
Right, and that I always find impressive because I don't know. Sometimes the philosophy stuff, I feel like it's just you have to have a tedious mind in order to be able to grasp that stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, I love learning about it, but yeah, it does take a lot of yeah.
I have to read it over and over and over again and like stop and point to the book. Okay, now this point is trying to I can't listen to it. I can't. Yeah, it's like it's tough.
Especially like the fallacies, you gotta like really pay attention.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, so with that, what I would really like everyone who's still here watching right now, thank you so much for all of you guys for coming. But what I'd love you guys to do right now, I am pinning in the top of the chat the Ways to Human channel. She needs 12 subscribers to cross that 200 mark. And if we could do that in the next like 5 minutes, would make my night. And we've got enough people watching now. If you're not subbed to AJ at Ways to Human, I could not have made it easier for you. Just click the link at the top of the chat, wander over to Ways to Human, hit that subscribe button, and I want to see that number go up, because I'm going to hold you all hostage here as I just watched your number go up as well.
I see so many familiar people in the comments. Fern, Love Bond, like my very first fan on my channel.
No excuse. Sub twice.
Yeah.
Thanks. Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, myself next week. I have this gentleman and his friend Jason coming on. Jeff and Jason. They are the organizers of BajaCon. So if you don't know, that was the atheist convention that took place here in Sarnia, Ontario. Here being that it was in Canada and I'm in Canada, it was still like a several-hour drive for me to go. But they're the organizers of the event of BajaCon. I've got them coming on, and I've also got a very special surprise for them. But if you guys want to see what that surprise is going to be, you're going to have to sub to me as well and hit the like button and make sure you turn on that notification for that episode with Jeff. And then another one I've got on the books here is November 3rd. I've got Drew Beckius, who's going to come out and hang out with us, and he's going to tackle the tableau as well. Shows that I don't that are booked, but I don't have them necessarily prepared with a thumbnail or anything yet. Is right after my show with Drew, I'm going to be on Skeptic Haven with SR, taking calls. Hopefully.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I'm going to be over there. For the first time ever, I'm going to put on my debunk hat, I guess, as well, and challenge some theist callers, hopefully.
Those shows are fun. The call-in shows, those are really fun. I did Truth One and once, and it was cool.
Oh yeah, Truth One is really good. So Skeptic Haven's awesome. I'm so glad to see it. It's like really taken off lately. That's awesome.
Yeah, so I'll be over there doing that. Also, I don't have the thumbnail for it because it was literally like just locked in and confirmed, but I'm hosting another debate. So the last debate I did with Mark Reed and Octavio, almost 1,000 views on that puppy, which is huge for me. So I instantly ran and got Octavio again. So Octavio you've seen, and I got Grayson Hawk, who's going to come, and they're going to debate evolution.
Love him.
November 17th. So I'll get that thumbnail, I'll get that post on my channel, but you guys are hearing it now because you're here on the live stream. You're now the only ones who know that on the 17th of November, we're doing an evolution debate with Grayson Hawk and Octavio, which is fantastic and a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
awesome.
I love Grayson, but Grayson's so busy these days. He's real tough to nail down. So I was glad to finally lock a date in for that. But that brings us to the end of another great episode. Spin Dr. Mike, as you guys know, is in Vegas celebrating and renewing his vows with his wife. So Spin Dr. Mike will be back here next week. But AJ, it was awesome having you. So thank you so much for coming and helping me out today.
Thank you so much. Anytime. Just let me know when and where.
I would have been overwhelmed with someone like Brentley because he just steamrolled me today.
Sorry, that's why I do my show by myself, because I'll just keep going. I can't.
Yeah.
I don't play well with others.
Yeah, but we should collab and do something again sometime soon. But in the meantime, everyone stay safe. If you're in the southern states and near Brentley's area, our prayers are with you. Don't get blown away by a hurricane. All right.
Right.
And if you're not subbed to Ways to Human, where AJ does her content, well, shame on you. But AJ, you're at 193 now, so might not be able to get you all the way to 200 just yet. But if I was ever pushing for someone to go and do some subbing, just go over to AJ and sub, because
thank you.
She's new to the space and she needs the encouragement, and we want to encourage her, and I love her content. And that's your husband that you do those lives with, right?
Yeah. He's on the Cognitive Echo in the chat. That's my husband right there.
Yeah.
Oh,
supporting.
That's awesome.
They're a fantastic duo. So everyone have a great night, and yeah, later on, I'll be watching Maya Adkins on Bad Science Sunday. That's what I'm doing.
Oh
tonight.
yeah, love Maya.
I don't have the YouTube powers to do any kind of like audience rating or anything like that, but I can still sit here and tell you that that's what I'll be watching later.
And it's good. It is the 2 thumbs up. You know,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
The science is bad, but the host is fantastic.
there you go.
Goddess
That's
level even.
Exactly.
All right. Have a great night, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. We're out of here. See ya.
Thank you.